Hey, this is Mike from Explore Prague, and welcome in our city. One place you absolutely can't miss is the Old Town Square. It's totally packed with sights. When you look behind me, you can see a beautiful teen church. Then you can see a very old Gothic house of a stone bell. Around here, you can see a gorgeous statue of Jan Hus, one of the most famous reformers of all times. And then right behind me is the building of the Old Town Hall with the Astronomical Clock. A pearl of a Gothic architecture is definitely a teen church right behind me. It's a beautiful church that took almost 150 years to build and is one of the main symbols of the Old Town Square. So one of the churches you definitely shouldn't miss when you're in Prague is the Church of St. James the Greater right behind me. It's a very tall church located just a few steps from the Old Town Square in one of those back roads, but it's definitely worth seeing. The building of the Old Town Hall right behind me was established in the year 1338 and was for centuries used as the main seat of the Prague City Council. Nowadays it draws crowds from all across the world just because of that thing over here, the Astronomical Clock. Astronomical Clock was for the first time mentioned in year 1410 and over the centuries was a couple times remodeled. Nowadays people wait here every hour to see the show of figures of the apostles and other moving sculptures. If you haven't done it yet, one of the things you should definitely put on your list is the visit of the Old Town Hall Tower right behind me, because the view from the top is just breathtaking. And the next stop on our list is the Jewish Quarter. Jews in medieval ages were usually gathering at places where some business was going on, and Prague definitely was such a place. So one of the largest Jewish ghettos of medieval ages was in Prague. However, at the end of the 19th century, the ghetto was in such a bad shape that a city council decided to take the entire ghetto down. Fortunately, a couple buildings survived the demolition. The great example is the oldest synagogue in Prague, called the Old New Synagogue, which was founded in the 13th century, and a Renaissance town hall of the Jewish town standing right next to it. It takes just a few-minute walk from the Old Town Square through Karlova Street to get to one of the most famous sights of Prague, to the Charles Bridge. One of the most famous sights of Prague is with no doubt the Charles Bridge. Founded in the year 1357, it took almost 50 years to complete this magnificent, over 500 meters long bridge. Make sure you plan quite a lot of time to get across the bridge, since there are so beautiful views from here. So just across the bridge is standing one of the most beautiful Baroque churches in Prague, if not the most beautiful one, the Church of St. Nicholas. Church of St. Nicholas are basically two ways how you can get up to the Prague Castle. You can take the Nerudova street right behind me, or you can go into this street and take an old Prague Castle steps. And that's what we're gonna do. So now as we're walking up those steps, it's good to mention that they actually even appeared in one of the American movies, which was filmed almost entirely in Prague, and that was Hellboy. The actual scene which was filmed on those steps was supposed to take a place in Paris. What they did, they just digitally add to the distance in Eiffel Tower, and that was it. So now we finally arrived to the Prague Castle, a place from which Czech kings were leading their kingdoms for centuries, and nowadays is the seat of our president. Prague Castle is written in the Guinness Book of Records for being the biggest castle complex in the world, which you realize shortly after you arrive inside.
Prague Castle has 3 courtyards in total. The first one was founded during the reign of Maria Therese and is guarded by the traditional honest castle guards. The second courtyard dates back to 16th century into the reign of Rudolf II. The real heart of the castle is the third courtyard with the St. Vitus Cathedral.
Absolutely unthinkable part of Prague Castle's panorama is the St. Vitus Cathedral. It's a cathedral that was founded by Charles IV in year 1344, and who would say that it took almost 600 years to complete that? In fact, Prague Castle consists of 4 main sites. Of course, the St. Vitus Cathedral, then the Old Royal Palace, St. George Basilica, and a Golden Lane. The Old Royal Palace, which you can see right now behind me, was founded in 12th century and was for a couple centuries used as a main seat of the Czech kings. The last big reconstruction was done in the beginning of 16th century when King Vladislav decided to build one great and magnificent hall, which will be of course named after him, the Vladislaus Hall. The oldest church that you can find in the area of a Prague Castle is an old Romanesque St. George Basilica. It was built in 10th century, and in its early days they used it as a place where they bring Czech kings. Wenceslas Square is a very vibrant place full of life where people meet and gather already for a couple centuries. It was originally founded by Charles IV in the second half of 14th century when he founded his new town of Prague. Nowadays, locals mostly go through this square as one of the biggest crossroads in the city because all metro lines meet under this square and also quite a lot of trams go through as well.